All right. So I'm back. Sorry about that. So just to recap for people, I'm going to be demoing some bee button earrings that were quite popular with our virtual Tucson event, where we had wholesale account Zoom meetings at the beginning of at the last part of January, and it was our kind of effort to meet with our customers when we couldn't go to Tucson and have our normal party where we visit with everybody. So went really well, and we're focusing on buttons today. As I said, I kind of need to recap here. And we are grateful for all of you guys who are here, because for TiaraCast and all of the other jewelry making companies in the industry, you guys are our reason for being. You people who are making jewelry, you're why we do what we do. So I'm super happy you're here. And I also wanted to mention that we're going to be starting a sort of regular Facebook Live on Tuesday mornings at 10 a.m. So this time slot, and to demo different jewelry projects, and we'll figure it out as we go regarding projects. And it might not be every week, but several times a month at least. And we'll of course post schedules and announce and keep you guys posted about it. So I had just started to talk about buttons when I found out there was a technical snafu. So I'm going to switch my camera view so I can show you guys, buttons. Normally, very typically, we use buttons for jewelry, for bracelet closures. So I put out some of our different bracelet designs using some TiaraCast buttons. We have a recent Monstera button is part of our new renewal launch. So that button is turning out to be very popular. We have a little stitch-in connector that is designed to work with seed beads, so you can attach buttons to a seed bead design. We have our little mini, what we call our smaller buttons. I don't think we technically call them mini. You won't find the mini on the website, but they're a little bit smaller. They're very cute. And, so as a bracelet closure, it's really common to use a button for that. But they also make great focals. We did this bracelet also with our renewal launch that people are just kind of crazy about too. So that was a real fun design. So bracelets, but then also earrings. Necklaces are really fun. I'm going to switch my camera back real quick so you guys can get a look at the one I'm wearing. I couldn't resist since the topic was buttons. We did this necklace many years ago when we did a big button. I think it was the buttons of the month, and it was 2015, and we launched a new button every month. So that was a design that we did for that. And then switching camera back. We've also done some other fun things with the buttons, like used it as a focal for a bead embroidery piece. See if I can get that up closer to you guys. And most of the designs I show you, I shouldn't say most, many of them are on our website in the inspiration section. So you guys can peruse that inspiration section of our website and find instructions for many of these designs. And this is a fun necklace design that sort of works as a lariat. And it just uses a two-hole button with chain running through it and a nice dangly pearl focal at the end. So lots of possibilities with buttons, and so then we come to the focus of our tutorial, which is about buttons as earring focals. So I was just showing you that bee button earring design. We've used that in several different ways. This one is fun just with a chain for a chandelier style earring. This one I think that I just showed you is not on our current website, but this one is. This one we call bamboo forest earrings. And there's an earring at the top, and then we threaded some 1 millimeter cotton cord through to make the tassel dangle. So that one is available on the website. This is same idea, using a shank button with the jump rings to turn it into an earring focal. This is a blossom from our blossom collection a couple years ago. It is on the website as well. And then this one, again with the 2-hole button with just some jump rings to link everything together. And then this one uses a 2-hole button with some wire wrapping. So this design has been around the shop for a while. This was the cover of our, I think, 2012 catalog. And it's a fun design. So I'm also going to demo that. I did a test one to remind myself how it was done and pulled out some other components. So we'll demo that one later. But the first one we're going to do is our bee-button earrings. And I pulled out a little gold sample too. We ended up using the copper design in our marketing materials, but you know, it was fun in other finishes too. So what I've got for our demo is silver. And what I need is an ear wire and the bee button and a couple of our 6 millimeter, I think these are 20 gauge wire, some of our 6 millimeter jump rings. And I have this little check glass flower bead and a little gemstone briolette type of dangle. So the first thing we're going to do, I've got some 24 gauge craft wire, and I'm going to just thread that through the little briolette gemstone. I want to leave myself about like 1.5 inches to work with here maybe, and then I'm just going to fold the wires up so they meet up above the top of the dangle. And why isn't my camera focusing for you guys? All right, so I've got that wire arranged up at the top, and I'm going to grasp the top of that little triangle with my chain nose pliers. And then I'm just going to wrap that shorter cord around the longer one a couple of times. And you could really do as much as you want here. I'm just going to go with a couple. And then trim that off. Then I'm going to string on the little flower bead and do another wrapped loop up at the top. Or I shouldn't say another wrapped loop. This kind of was the wrapped loop technique, but I don't know, I guess it's arguable if it was a wrapped loop. Anyway, a wrapped loop at the top. And then I'm going to use my chain nose pliers to just tuck that wire end in a little bit and straighten that up. And same with the bottom. I cut it pretty close, but still want to just straighten it up a little bit. And then I want to make sure that my loop, let me think now. How do I want my loop to face? It needs to be facing perpendicular to my bead. Then I'm going to take one of my little jump rings and thread that. I want to make sure well, actually, it's not as important right now, but in a minute, I'll show you. You want to make sure your B button is right side up. So I've opened that jump ring, and we make our buttons with pretty roomy shanks because we want to be able for people to fit cord through there, like 2 millimeter cord or whatever kind of thicker material they might be working with. So the shank is nice and roomy. Whoops, that was a little messy. All right, got that one connected. So that's going to dangle down below my earring, the button. So I'm going to take the second button jump ring and thread it through the shank above the other one. And I can go ahead and string the loop of my ear wire on there as well now too. And then just close up that jump ring. So you can see that that's a pretty quick and easy, fun hack for turning that button into an earring focal. Let's see. So that's it for that one. You know, I showed you a couple of other designs using the same idea. So there's a lot of potential for using buttons like this for your earrings. And I'm sorry I can't see your comments, but I have Julie moderating. So hopefully if you guys have any questions and things like that, Julie will be responding to you. And also I will definitely watch this and go through the comments later and respond, kind of whatever you guys need. I'll do my best to get back to you on things. All right, so the second pair of earrings, I had a piece of wire cut, and now I don't know what happened to it. So I'm just going to cut the second piece of wire. And I want about 10 inches for this one. Now this design, as I mentioned, is from way, way back. So it is not currently on our website, but I can get it, I'll get it set up. It really was a popular design and we've got all the content. So I'll work on that. I'll get it set up so that it's downloadable for you guys. It might take a week or so, but I think we can do that. So what I need for this design is a 2-hole button, and this one is our leaf button. And I'll need an ear wire and about a 10-inch piece of 24-gauge wire. And this little charm is an acrylic, or no, it's a Lucite leaf charm. I have no idea if you guys can find those anymore. We bought these way back in whatever year it was when this was the cover of our catalog. So it's been a long time, but it is called a Lucite leaf charm. So you guys will have to let me know if you can get that. Well, actually, I'll do some research and make sure that there's something out there that you guys can use before I put this up on the website, because it's not fair to put something up on the website and then you guys can't get the parts. So we'll check into that. All right, so I've got 10-inch piece of craft wire and my little button. The first thing I'm going to do is thread the wire through the button about 4 inches. And then I'm going to wrap this around and through that hole again a couple of times. And then I want to end with my wire aiming down. Then I'm going to thread that end through the adjacent wire. Got a little twist in it, so I want to try and get that out. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm going to be forming a wrapped loop and I want to make sure it's secure and not kind of flopping around. Okay. All right, so I've got that threaded through an adjacent wire, and now I'm going to start a wrapped loop. But before I finish the wrapped loop, I want to string on my little button charm. And you know, it's always tricky when you're putting something onto a wrapped loop. It's confusing about which side is going to face forward. So I just start it by facing the back side forward. If my wire is aiming away from me, then it'll be sure that I'll have the side facing front if I start backwards. I hope that makes sense. So then I've got that little charm on the wire. And I'm going to just do a wrapped loop. And the original, if you can see, I was real generous with the wrapped loop. It's a lot of wire there, and it makes it kind of fun and a little bit rustic looking. So, but you can do really what you want. I didn't quite give myself as much room with the length of wire I left below the loop. So it won't be quite as much as the original version. So I've got that wrapped, and I'm going to trim off the wire. All right, so now, whoops, that needs to be in the back. So now I'm going to go through the next hole. So the wire is wrapping around the center of the button. And I'm going to do that twice. All right, so I've got that wrapped around twice. And I'm up at the top again. And I'm going to repeat what I did down below. So pull it around. It's getting a little twisted, so I'm going to use my pliers to straighten it a little bit. I'm going to wrap that around and come back through the hole 3 times, or twice rather. And then, like I did up here at the top, I'm going to thread, or at the other side, I'm going to thread the wire through one of the adjacent, maybe I'll come around the other side and do this one. Through the adjacent wire just to secure it. And then I can form another wrapped loop. And a nice wire wrap hides all sins, right? That wire wasn't exactly straight anymore, but I'm just going to wrap it until I'm happy with it and trim off the back. And I'm going to use my pliers to straighten this. It got a little bent in the making. Straighten my wires a little bit. And then I can add my ear wire at the top. And something I want to make sure I do, because this, you know, the 24 gauge wire is pretty fine. I want to make sure that this ear wire loop is really nice and secure so the rest of the earring doesn't slip out. All right. So pretty easy. We really love this technique. It's super fun. And that's all I have for you today. I'm hoping that you had questions and that Julie was able to answer them for you. And again, I will go through, after we're done here, I'll go through these and make sure I respond to you guys if you had other questions and comments and things like that. So there are a couple things to look out for. I told you about our upcoming kind of Tuesday morning demo schedule. Hopefully I'll tell you what we're going to do next. The one that we're going to do next week is also from our renewal launch. And it is these Luna Moth earrings. And we ended up doing 2 versions of these. We ended up doing this one with some craft wire, and we did this one with beading wire and crimps. And of the 2, this one is really the more simple process, but I'm going to demo them both for you next Tuesday. So that'll be March 2nd. March 2nd at 10 a.m. And then there's a couple of other fun things to look for. TierraCast is collaborating with a couple of different Facebook groups these days. We have the Great Bead Extravaganza, which you guys may have heard of. It's a collaboration of us and 16 other companies. And we kicked it off in November with a 3-day event where we had all of the companies did a live stream presentation, and there were many demos, there were sales, there were just a lot of fun jewelry making tutorials in that event. And we did a second event earlier this month, and it was just a 2-day event, but it was also very successful. People had a lot of fun. And we have a third one coming up starts on March 19th. So we're calling that one our Spring Fling, I think, the Great Bead Extravaganza. So look for that Facebook group. The tutorials and classes are all free, so you kind of can't go wrong. And then our second collaborative group that we're working on is called Mojo2, MOJO2, and it is also a Facebook group open to anyone. And it's fairly new, and so we're just kind of getting onto a schedule. It's TierraCast and several other companies, including Beadalon, Dakota Stones, Impress Art, Jesse James Beads, and Leathercord USA. All companies that we have, we've worked with them frequently in terms of sharing products and working together on events and stuff. So we have a group started with that collaboration, and we're just working on getting up a schedule of inspirational content. So look for that group too. And thank you very much for joining me. And I will see you again next Tuesday. Thanks. Bye.